Thank you very much, guys. I hope your voice does survive, Joe. There is so much to talk about with this game. I do want to highlight something that stood out for me. That was the first time we've seen Morning on Syndra. Every time we've seen TPA play Syndra, it has been in the hands of Chowie when he's playing in his local region. So that's interesting turn of events. His opposite number, Korn, giving up first blood, definitely gave TPA some resources to play with. And the first 25 minutes of this game belonged to the Taipei Assassins. I don't think anyone can dispute that.
Well, it was a gift, though.
It was a nice cornmeal.
Not you,
Crumbs, you fit in so well here. I love it.
Monty, talk to me about the early game, what TPA did right, and what we saw going wrong for Royal Club.
Yeah, that's right. So this is an interesting team composition, and out of all the teams we see coming in, Caitlyn really isn't used by pretty much anybody else. And late in the playoff run for Starhorn Royal Club, they started playing these fast push compositions with Caitlyn. And as Freak pointed out, this wasn't an all-in terms of that fast push, because they did have that late game presence with Ryze and Orianna. So it was more balanced than some of the fast push comps we've had before. But with Korn just walking into the top side of his jungle with the Wraiths in the lane swap, incredibly questionable. That's the nicest way I can put it. Move. So you had the bot tower go down to the fast push, the top tower go down to the fast push, but it stalled out in the mid lane because Korn fell so far behind, and they couldn't actually capitalize on it. At that point, TPA had the answers. They got the dragons. And then with the Baron control, I think you guys have a lot to say about that, but the Baron control was really bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mistakes to point out. I think Royal Cup could have went an alternative route at the start as well. They were able to freeze bottom lane level 1 and just send Nami top, and then have Ryze and Nami farm together and just farm into late game and do it that way. They did like to fast push, so I understand why they did that. But then I'm just really confused for Zero. So throughout the game, he built... Okay, let's go first. He upgraded his spell thieves all the way to a Frostfang, then went for a Ruby Sidestone, and only then started building in Mikhail's. And if that wasn't enough... If you wonder what's wrong with that, you need to get Mikhail's ASAP on Nami. But then, so he just wasted so much gold on nothing. And then, but to top that all off, his team needed an Aegis. They didn't have an Aegis until maybe 55 minutes into the game.
Combined with the Magi's.
Yeah. This game made me very. This game made me very angry. So instead of like buying his items properly, he went for a Magi Soulsteer that he finished at 52 minutes in the game. Instead, at the same time when he bought his Aegis, instead of upgrading his Aegis to a Locket, he got a grand total of 3 stacks at the end of the game. I wonder what his stacks are going to do at the end of the game, where you get enough AP that is worth it instead of just buying an Aegis or a Locket for your team. I just can't comprehend.
Let's roll this along. Starhorn Crab, they stalled out the game. Their late game comp was superior. Taipei Assassins had absolutely no idea how to press their advantage when they had it. Crumbs, I know you've been wanting to chime in. Care to expand? Wins did well for his team, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest point that stood out for TPA, they did really well in the early game. They had an 8k gold lead. It was all about the Baron bait. And the biggest thing to point out for anybody that wants to understand what happened was that their ward coverage was not proper. They had a lot of wards around the actual river area and Baron, but they did not have enough wards in the red side jungle for Starhorn, which means that if they start Baron, they can't see Starhorn come in. They need to move their ward control and ward denial into the red jungle, so they have a lot more preparation time to see if Starhorn decides to come in and contest the Baron.
In addition to that, they just need to push out their mid lane first. If they actually were the opposite team, their wards would have been perfect.
Freak, wrap us up before we go to stage
and yeah, it's unfortunate that the Baron baits didn't work very well, because sieging was kind of not an option against this type of team. You've got 500 attack range Lucian, a Syndra who doesn't have any escape tools. Those are the only ranged champions on your team, and you're facing an Orianna, a static Shiv, right? Like and the wave clear coming out from the Kha'Zix as well, and then you've even got the tidal wave. So there's so many anti-push tools to make their life so hard. If only they could set up Baron, it would have been fine. But of course, that didn't work out.
Yeah, it worked against them, unfortunately. Anyways, good attempt by TPA. It didn't work out. We are going to send things over to Shox, who's on stage with Uzi to talk about that win.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Starhorn Royal Club's AD carry, Uzi. First off, congratulations. Fantastic victory here versus TPA. It was a fantastic game, and TPA came out very strong. At what point in the game did you feel that you could pull it back in your favor, and who made the decision for that Baron?
OK， 所以 TPA 在其实领先的这个游戏很长一段时间。那你在什么时候觉得说你们已经够强，可以去逆转赢得这个会战？然后是谁决定去抠这个巴龙战的？
就因为我们的阵容就拿得非常的后期，然后一旦我们拖到30分钟或者40分钟以后的话，我们打团或者是 埋伏他们，他们就是打团会打不过我们，因为我们的阵容比他们优势。
Okay, so basically we have a very late game team composition. So when passing the time point of 30 or 40 minutes, actually we have the advantage at team fight and ambushing.
Yeah, we saw that in a fantastic victory. Now, later up today, you're going up against North America's TSM. What do you think of their bottom lane, Wild Turtle and Lustboy, that you'll be playing against?
Okay, 所以晚一点你们皇族战队要对上 TSM， 那你觉得他们下路的 AD Wild Turtles 跟 Support Lustboy， 你看法是什么？
我觉得这次参赛队伍的下路都非常强，而且我也有看过他们的比赛视频。然后我也会用很多的方法去赢得他们吧。
Okay, so basically every team that's participating in this World Championship, they have really strong bot lane, no matter which team. And I've watched Wild Turtles and Lostboy play before while on stream or on tournaments, and I have my way to beat them.
Aha, very interesting. Well, that'll be a great game. Well, if you manage to win that game, you're well on your way in this group. Obviously, last year you were in the finals of the World Championship. This time around, a lot of changes to the team. How far do you think you guys can go this time?
Okay, 所以去年皇族也打到总冠军赛嘛。那今年你的球员都换了，你觉得在这支新的队伍，你能走得多远呢？也能到冠军赛吗？
我希望我们也能进到冠军赛，而且拿到冠军吧，加油！
Okay, I hope this team and this year we can still make it to the finals and actually get the championship.
All right, well, we'll be seeing in your next games. Congratulations. Thank you very much. All right, it's time again for a quick break, but when we return, AHQ will face off against Samsung White. We'll be right back.
Kill. Meanwhile, Kohler going for morning, gets that one. Stop him from being in any trouble. Here is Wins coming around the back. Who are they going to go for?
Lucian and Cinder to do with the hit.
They're going to maybe there's a Monsoon coming out. There is intake down to half HP. Ulti comes through. It's not enough damage though. There is a Cully going through. They're smashing them in the back of the barrel pit. Well, there's the shockwave. It gets Jay 2 for 1 up until now, but it's a double for Uzi.